All right, so if we look at the first one, what can you tell me about the problem? All right, so when you look at it, what's this?
Volume. V1.
That's the volume. What can you tell me about this one?
That's pressure.
All right, so that's pressure. So you got a volume and a pressure. Now, it's asking you to find the what?
Volume.
And this is a what?
Pressure.
Now, did they say anything about temperature anywhere in the question?
No. Temperature is
So you assume the temperature is what if they tell you absolutely nothing about temperature?
constant.
It's constant. All right? So V1 is 155 milliliters. And then I'm going to make P1 because it says 155 at 185. That 185 torr has to stay with the 155. Okay? You don't have to make these V1 and P1. They could just as easily be V2 and P2. And these two numbers have to stay together. Okay? Find the second volume because it said what is the volume? And P2 is what? 57.8 kPa. Now, yesterday when we were working this, I told us have to match. Now, we can make them both torr. We can make them both kPa. We can make them both something else. Now, I like to work smart. I'd make them either both torr or make them both kPa because there's less work involved. So, if you make them both torr, 57.8 kPa has to become torr. So kPa, torr, 760, 101.325, which is why your homework the other night was to change units. If you do this wrong, it's a standard deduction beyond the other day. There's no partial credit in that. It's just minus whatever it's minus, depending on the point value of the question. So this would be 433.5 torr. All right. If you did the other one and you went 185 torr and you changed them into kPa, you would do it the opposite way. Torr on the bottom, kPa on the top. 101.325, 760.
Miss Ball,
What?
are these questions going to be on the CFA today?
Nope. 24.6. Okay? So 24.6 kPa. Now, it does not matter which one of those you change or take and use. You choose. The formula is V1P1 equals V2P2. Now, you need to make sure you pick the matching units, though, when you plug in. So volume is 155. I'm going to use torr, 185. V2 we want, and P2 is 433.5. Now, if you had kPa, you'd have put the 24.6 and 57.8. Dividing both sides by 433.5, 433.5. It cancels. V2 equals, so 155 times 185, divide 433.5, gives us somewhere around 66.1. The units have to match, so it has to be milliliters. Questions? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm not but can you change them into ATM?
Sure. I told you. They can be any unit you want to be. They just have to match. I just chose not to have to change both of them into a different unit. Yes, ma'am.
So you're not supposed to cross multiply? Like it's not going to be.
There's no denominator, so there's no cross multiply. Did you change the formula into V1 over P1 or something like that? Yeah, you just changed the formula. The formula's not that. Anybody else? Question on the first one.
No.
All right, number two. All right, number two says to find if the volume of the gas is 450 at 45, this is V1, this is T1. Okay, that's the volume, that's the temperature. Everybody okay with that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this is a what? So that's got to be V2. They're solving for what will be the temperature, so we're solving for T2. Okay? So, based on that, V1 is 450. T1 is 45. V2 is 675.
So wait, what's the equation for this one?
Get ready to do it. And T2, we don't know. Now, because this is degrees Celsius, can I leave my temperature in degrees Celsius?
No.
No. So 45 plus 273 is 318 kelvins. All right, the formula for this one, because we have volume and temperature, what unit is missing?
Pressure.
So we want V1 over T1 equals V2 over T2. So my volume 1 is 450 over 318 for T1 equals 675 over T2. I can write on it again.
No.
So how do I solve? Cross multiply. Now you can do it any way you want to. Like I told Annabelle yesterday, at this point, if you write in funky numbers and it's wrong, it's just a standard deduction. I'm not going to multiply on my calculator to figure out what you did wrong. I'm going to write minus. I'm going to write the word algebra. I'm going to keep going. Okay?
Listen, what to write out?
If it's a 20-point question, it's minus 10. Okay? I'm just telling you, I'm not going to try to figure out what you did. All right, to solve for T2, what do I do? Divide by 450. So T2 should be equal to 318 times 675 divided by 450. You get 477. Now, 477 will be in what unit? Kelvins, because it has to match there. If the question asks for kelvins or it didn't specify, we're done. What did it ask for? It asked for it in Celsius. So this is one of the few we're going to have to change. K equals C plus 273. 477 equals C plus 273. Subtract. So 477 minus 273. Whoops. I'll just let it right. 204.
So every time it gives us the temperature in Celsius, we have to change that.
Say what now?
Every time it gives us the temperature.
Nope. This question says, what will be the new temperature in Celsius? That's the only reason I changed it back to Celsius, because it's specified in the question in Celsius. If it didn't say that, Raquel, I'd have left it in kelvins. Questions on the opening? All right, can we look at homework?
Yeah.
We're going to wait on homework. Scratch that. We're going to do that after the CFA. Let's get that over.
Really cute.
What?
This.
I agree.
Just look at that all.
All right. You need
So is this all that like
an
what
orange
they,
reference table and a periodic table.
so is this like what they sound like or what they do?
Is this
What
considered?
does that sound like?
America, you know, it's
It's
America.
just a cartoon of names. You can revise it.
Periodic table and art sheet. I forgot.
Everybody else said yep.
I told you yesterday you could earn bonus points for this today.
For what? On the CFA. It's not counted.
Sometimes you already know. So we don't have to take it?
You have to take it, dear.
So art paper and
Periodic table. Oh, wait. By the way, today is day 61.
oh, well, nobody cares. Oh, oh yeah, we don't have no observation sheet anymore.
Would you like?
We'll figure it out. I'm so cold, like.
Hey, I'm making my own strip club. We don't have one.
Who moved last time?
Nobody? We didn't have one.
I sit right there.
When we took the test, I
I'll
moved
sit
somewhere.
right there.
Yeah, she was sitting over there.
Well, whoever moved last time, I would say the other person
I don't
moved,
care. I'm
but
sitting right here.
No, she sat right
Oh,
there.
no,
I
I
just don't have a Lysol one.
I guess.
And
Go back there.
it was in the big money bag, so I couldn't bring that.
Go back there to this. And the back there to the car.
I wanna know why we have brown bags, like we actually use them for something, but.
Like your mom's gonna pack your lunch or something in the brown paper bag. You got a field trip.
I don't know. Sis, you got steam coming out my ears.
I can see it.
Oh, my God, can you see it?
No, you're not. I said it third.
Is this
And you may not have more than 30 minutes on this.
what?
It's 14 questions.
Why don't you What is all this stuff?
One day away.
And I really can't be bothered.
We have different break.
Oh my God. And we don't have school Friday, and we don't work till like 4 or 5. Yes, I fell asleep until 4 or 5. That's like, I'm coming late. I would say we work till 9. I don't do work till 9. Yeah, because we work till 9, like Allie or Carly.
Alright. Everybody in the chair, quiet. Oh, your answer. I told you 14 questions.
Helly too close. I'm gonna make her do the hardest thing. I'm gonna be like, even when she's hard 16, I'm gonna make sure I work her first closing week. I'm gonna make her do the hardest thing and just be like, oh, this is normal. Oh, y'all have it. We didn't know. Okay. Get in, I spin.
1-4. Everybody get one?
Yeah.
I didn't get one. I'm just kidding.
Yes, you're right on it. Where's Anna? You done? You done? What's your own desk? Hmm? Man. Who still has a paper at this point? So I have one.
Song, they're singing the song. What if we're just like open that door and start singing?
How about you don't?
And then I went to the chorus.
I'm pretty sure Miss Rector does not want you singing with them.
It's a group. You are really cool. It's not fun. It's like weirdos.
All right, put your homework out.
Keep moving.
Normally I would, but I don't want to spend the time walking around looking at it.
No. I just looked it all up. Like, honestly, just from like all my cousins and family, just doing all the time.
Several hundreds.
Let's say it.
Raquel, Jayla, Kevin. Those folks got hundreds.
I got 100.
Yes, you heard me say Annabelle.
I got 100.
No.
I didn't say Annabelle.
I could have sworn I heard her name. I was like,
I said Raquel, Jayla, and Kevin.
I heard Raquel.
Good job, you guys.
Cynthia has a 93.
You keep reading about the order.
I probably got
I don't
like
like that.
How much extra credit?
All right, that's it for the 93s. That means that person, Cynthia, had 13 out of 14. All right, for the 12 out of 14, which would be an 86.
Why are we doing this?
Right, like you're just bringing my heart down and stuff.
That would be Linda.
I mean, it's not like our grades.
That would be
count.
Chris.
It don't even matter.
That would be Madison. That would be Nakaya.
But then I already forgot who got called already, so.
That's it for 12 out of 14.
Oh, yeah, so yeah, just keep it there. Wait to keep it there. Because the rest is 79.
Yeah.
So if we went down one more to 11 out of 14.
Yo, the 79 is not that terrible of a grade.
So 11 out of 14 would be a what? A 79, you said?
And I know I'm not getting called, and I'm just gonna hype y'all
I'm not
up.
getting called.
So a 79 would put 11 out of 14. That would be
It's almost a B.
At this point, it cares.
Right,
That would
they
be-
don't count.
that would be Hallie, Sarah Lynn,
Put me on the screen.
28, 30.
that's it.
Okay, yeah. Stop it right there. Very positive.
That's all I got. Now there were several more at 10 out of 14 at 71, but so if your name was called, you will get bonus points.
No one else?
That's it.
Why?
I'm not awarding bonus points for anything less than
I thought 7. What's the difference? What's the difference between 79 and 71? You should just do above 70. You can probably still like me, but still.
All right, let's talk homework.
Oh.
Let me grab my book so I have the right answer.
What does this do? You've never used it.
Use what? The Elmo? I use it a lot in physical science, but at the moment it will not work with the laptop.
This is
Which
like,
is why they're trying to get the desktop to work. Would you stop and leave it be?
it's probably a good like selfie because it's got this light right here.
The laptop does not have the graphics that it needs to run the smartboard and the computer, which is why we stopped using the laptop. Yes, ma'am. Yes. All right, looking at the homework. Question number, which ones? 5, 6? Hold on, one at a time. I cannot keep those all straight. Number 5, what's that, 142? Because this one's rounded for significant digits, so I have something written in the margins, and I think it's 142.
Yeah.
All right. Next, after number 5, 10. Number 10, 121 kelvins. All right. Number 11. Is that what I heard next?
Yeah.
406 milliliters. All right, what's after 11?
14.
14 would be 540 kelvins.
18.
18 would be, I think I have 262 kelvins written there.
I got 260. Yeah, I got 260.
Okay, 260.
What was the
Number 5, why are y'all making me go back? 142. Y'all keep up. All right, so after 11, we're on what? Application problems? Oh, I got 19. 19 would be 2.01 atmospheres. All right, now what?
3.
All right, number 3, 6.05 times 10 to the 5th milliliters. If you did not put it in scientific notation, 605,000 milliliters. 605 and 3 zeros. All right, and then what was the last one? 9? 243 liters.
You need to work number last. Go for number 3.
What?
3 and 9.
So 11 and then 3 and 9. All right, so in number 11, it says at standard temperature. Because it says at standard temperature, I've given you the temperature. All right, so T1 is what? 273. So T1 is 273 Kelvin. All right, so what volume goes with that 273? 275. So 275 milliliters is V1. All right, they didn't tell you the temperature is 273. They said at standard temperature. What did we learn standard temperature was yesterday? 273. Even though they didn't write 273, they said at standard temperature. So they're telling you that temperature is 273. If you keep reading, it says the temperature is increased to 130 Celsius, and they want you to find the other volume. So we have to change the 130 into kelvins. So that's 403. And then we're ready to go. So we have V1 over T1 equals V2 over T2. So 275 over 273 equals V2 over 403. Cross multiply, we get V2 times 273 equals 275 times 403. Divide over here by 273. Divide there by 273. Is that good for number 11?
Yeah.
All right. And you said number 3 on the back. All right. So number 3 on the back says if a sample has 1 times 10 to the 6 milliliters. So what's 1 times 10 to the 6 ml? What's a milliliter? That's a volume. And then we keep reading and it says 575 mm. What's a mm? That's a pressure. So we're going to make that V1 and P1. All right. It's subjected to a pressure of 1.25 ATMs. What's 1.25 ATMs?
Pressure.
So that's a pressure. And it wants us to find volume again. All right. Did they mention anything about temperature? Yeah, they said it was constant, right? So that tells us we're going to need to use V1, P1 equals V2, P2. The only problem we have is what?
They're not the same.
They're not the same unit. It doesn't tell us we need to find the volume in liters or anything. So I'm going to leave that in milliliters because there's no need to change it. But these two don't match. So we have to change them. We can make them either both mm or we can make them both ATMs. It does not matter. Which one do you like? Okay. So I'm going to change my 1.25 ATM to mmHg. ATM here, mmHg there, 760. So 1.25 times 760.
Miss Lowell, why would you use MMHG oxygen?
Why would I use what?
Why would you use MMHG?
Because mmHg is the pressure unit. It doesn't matter that it's talking about oxygen gas. It doesn't matter what the gas is. mmHg is the unit of pressure. It's millimeters of mercury.
So it's not just with mercury?
No, it's just mercury. It's always going to be mercury. Okay? Now, for anybody who might have changed the 575, you would just do it the opposite way. And you'd have 760 down here and 1 ATM there. And so you'd have 575 divide 760. You'd have 0.75. If you did it, you'd have that. Okay? It doesn't matter which one you pick. All right, so now to plug in, we're just at the plug and chug portion of the program. So 1 times 10 to the 6th. Pressure is 575. Volume we don't know. And then pressure is 950. So to solve, we're going to divide both sides by 950 and divide this side by 950. And then volume 2 will equal whatever I called out. That's 6.05 times 10 to the 5th. Thank you. And my units have to match, so it has to be milliliters. I got to do 9. Then I can come back to it. All right, number 9. We look at number 9. It says that we have a 250 liter of helium at 22 and 740. What is 250 liters? So that's a volume, and it says 22 degrees Celsius. So that's a what? That's the temperature, and we have 740. 7 looks terrible. 740 mmHg, so that's a what? That's a pressure. So those are all ones. All right? And if I keep reading, it says if the volume of the balloon varies according to external conditions, what volume will it occupy? If we have negative 52 degrees Celsius, so negative 52 degrees Celsius, and we have 0.750 ATMs. All right, and we're looking for volume. So again, what's the problem in this question? My units don't match. So my temperatures are not in the correct units, so they have to be changed. So this will be 295 K. Negative 52 plus 273 will be 221 kelvins. 740 divides 760 will be 0.97 ATMs. Now you will find, because the gas law we're going to learn tomorrow with the ideal gas law will require atmospheres, a lot of you are going to gravitate that way. So V1 is 250. P1 is 0.97 over T1, which is 295. Equals V2 we don't know. P2 is 0.75. And then T2 is 221. To solve, I'm going to do what? I'm going to cross multiply. So I wind up with 250, 0.97, and 221 equals 295, V2, and 0.750. I'm going to divide by 295, and 0.750, 295, and 0.750. And V2 is equal to whatever I call that. Issues with number 9. Yeah. Take the vest. All right. Which one did you need, Leisure? That's your last one, Raquel.
Of the year?
Yeah. You only get 3. Next time you owe me lunch attention. I'm sorry. Them's the rules. All right, number 14 says, to what temperature must a sample of nitrogen at 27 and 0.625? See how it says 0.625 ATM and 27? Those two have to stay together. All right? Those two numbers are together now, Lasia. So what is an atmosphere? So make that P1. And what is this? Make it T1. Okay? So then if you look at the problem, you've got a 1.1 ATM. What's an ATM? So make it P2. And that means we're solving for T2. Now, in this one, my units match for pressure. So what do I have to do to my temperature? Yep. So 27 plus 273 is 300K.
It threw me off when it says, at constant volume.
Constant volume means you want the formula that has no volume. So P1 over T1 equals P2 over T2. So pick the formula that has no V. Okay? So 0.625 over 300 equals 1.125 over T2. You good to go from there? You need me to finish solving it? Huh? Okay. Anybody else? Question on the first 4 gas laws on the quiz tomorrow. So we're good to go with Dalton's law now?
Do we have to know all the names?
Huh?
Or do we have to know the names of them?
Not for tomorrow. I have to know them for the test.
So now
Tomorrow is
today
all
we're-
math.
Today we're learning the partial pressure.
Yes.
Whoa.
Dalton's law of partial pressures.
Is what we're doing against, is what we're doing today gonna be on quiz?
Yes, it is.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
That's a 4.
Yep. I love it to be June 8th.
Not there yet. Would be fabulous if it was. Year 28 would be in the books.
You're 28?
Miss Wall. He's 21.
That would mean I was how many years from retirement?
2.
Very good.
You're
I love it when
excited for
y'all
those 2
can
years,
count.
aren't you?
What?
You're excited for those 2 years to be over.
Oh, yeah. All right, Dalton's law of partial pressures. Get your feet off my counter.
They're always under the counter.
Get them down. Rotate your body a little bit.
You gotta be comfortable in this class.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Yes.
You do not have to be comfortable.
You do.
You do not.
You need to be in a good learning environment.
You do not have to be in a good learning environment. You will survive.
Yeah, we will survive, but we will not.
All right. Tell it. We're trying her up. At least I am. I'm still not doing well.
Copy that down while I go get the chart you need for the second part of Dalton's law.
What?
Yes, you need a chart, so we go grab it.
Are you leaving?
Am I gonna bomb? You did. Cold. That's coffee.
Morning.
Oh.
Apparently, I used all the cop. Don't make cop.
Good job.
Move.
You're gonna get extra today.
I'm sorry, what?
You get extra today.
Extra what?
Extra part of Dalton's law. Now,
Hey, but move your head.
I'm sorry, you can't see the computer.
Dalton's law says the total pressure
Wait, Miss Wall.
of a mixture of gases is equal to the sum of the partial pressures. All right, so if you have a container of gases, let's just say we have helium in it, we have some oxygen in it, and we have some hydrogen in it. All right, what did we say yesterday creates the pressure inside the container? The movement of the gases when they do what? When they collide with walls. All right, so the helium will hit the container walls and each other. The hydrogen will hit the container walls and each other. Okay, so what Dalton is saying is if you add the hydrogen, and if you add the helium, and if you add the oxygen together, you will get the total pressure. Does that make sense? It doesn't make any sense?
No.
What is PT?
Pressure total. The total pressure inside of the container is equal to the pressure that all of the gases exert. So helium is hitting the container walls and exerting a pressure. The hydrogen is hitting the container walls and exerting a pressure. The oxygen is exerting a pressure because it hits the container walls. So he's saying if you add all those individual pressures together, you will get the total pressure. That doesn't make sense to anybody? Okay.
Okay, well, that was better. I don't know. When you explain it.
Does it make a little more sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the equation if you had those three gases. All right, so this is the generic formula.
Oh, okay.
All right, so pressure total would be equal to P1 plus P2 plus P3 plus P dot dot dot. Now that means that you could add up any number of gases. So in this case, I had how many gases?
3.
So we would stop at P3. But if you had 5 gases, you would go up to what?
5.
P5. If you only had 2 gases, you'd stop at
2.
2. You see how the equation works? All right. Now, the only catch to this equation is what?
We don't know.
Yes, you do.
The total you need
The units have to do what?
to. So, like, if you have 3 different ones, you have to convert 3.
Correct.
That's
Correct.
stupid.
The units have to match. You can't add up an ATM to a KPA. It all has to be in KPA, or it all has to be in ATMs, or it all has to be in MMHG. It's the only catch. What?
Do you know if we're gonna have any homework over the break? No. Or you don't know. Or you said we aren't gonna have it.
You don't know, or we're not gonna have it.
I'm not going to assign it.
I love baseball.
All right, write it down. Why?
I'll find you good.
Okay. Write it down.
The other day, Lisa came, she's like, I'm gonna text you a day before I come, see if I can text my else, I'm gonna be here tomorrow. But I've been trying to see her.
I'm trying to see all of them.
You said you're going to see your mom in the weekend on the weekend. Where does she live?
Elizabeth City.
That's at the beach, right?
It's close to.
Wait, my friend lives there. Can I come with you?
Yeah.
I've already trapped in the car with my 2 children.
While we're in that car ride together, so much fun. We eat dog biscuits the whole way down. I think Shelby should come sit one of these like this. On one of the days we're like, well, I guess it doesn't snow anymore, but like sometimes you know how we'll only have a 2-hour delay. They get the full day off. Shelby should have came in one of these classes. I want to meet her. When does she leave?
When did she leave for what?
DC.
Thursday morning.
So they're supposed to be going back to school Thursday, right? She said, screw school. DC it is.
Yeah, she gets the days off. Ian is not happy.
I'm trying to shorten this, and I don't know if it's gonna make sense or not.
And this conversion.
I know.
All right, so what's wrong with the question?
They don't have the same. Yeah.
None of them match. Okay? So,
Hold on.
what do we have to do to them? Which one do you want to change them to? Okay. It wouldn't matter. So, as long as I don't specify. Now, if I said what is the total pressure in torque, you would have to change them all to what? Tor. But as long as I don't specify, my key would be done in all 3 units. You could change them to any unit you wanted to. All right, can I solve or no?
Yes.
All right, so pressure total is equal to the pressure of, what gases do I have? I have hydrogen plus the pressure of nitrogen plus the pressure of, who did I forget? Neon. Ooh, I had another one up here. So I have the pressure of hydrogen, which is 653 torr, plus the pressure of nitrogen, which is 152.3 kPa, and neon was the 2.5 atm.
What does PG stand for?
Pressure total.
Pressure total. So the only one that I'm not going to change based on what you said is the ATM, because that's the unit that you said to change it to. So the other 2 have to be changed. Now, 653 torr, ATM. ATM gets a what? Torr gets. All right, and then the last one, 153.2, 152.3 kPa, ATM, is 1. What's kPa's number?
Miss Wall.
What?
Is ATM kind of like moles where they get 1 all the time, or is that just for this question?
No, ATM's always 1.
Oh, it's like a mole.
Yes. Now, which one are you supposed to know for the quiz tomorrow that is not on
KPA?
Pascal's, PA? All right, so 0.859 plus 1.52 plus 2.5 ATM.
Whatever sound that is annoying.
Drum of some kind.
What's KPA?
4.8. Anybody else get that?
Yeah.
4.87 ATM.
Is that all?
That's it.
Hey! That ain't that hard, bro.
It's not hard. Everybody go with that?
Yay.
Feel okay about it?
Yay.
All right. The second half of Dalton's law.
There's a second half.
There's the second part.
One more period.
Now, you can put in your notes or mark it that this will not be on the exam.
Are you serious?
Yes? Do you really need me to say it again?
Are you Miss Boston's best friend?
No. Why?
You guys are in honors class.
Miss Wall.
All right.
Miss Wall.
Yes.
Do people call this the science hall or the one with Thornhill the science hall?
This is science building.
Like the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Like what if the freshman's like, where's Miss Wall's room? Science hall.
Just call it science building.
say science. You're gonna go in both halls.
Just call it the science building. We adopted course.
Where was course?
Band room.
Man.
Where's the band room?
The band room is in the auditorium.
Oh, I remember that, low key.
No, I mean like.
Not from when I was here, but my nanny went here when I was little, and she had a chorus concert, and I would go there one time with her.
Why did they move it?
Ms. Rector decided to give the band room back to the band.
What classroom is this?
It just wasn't. It was a science lecture. All they taught driver's ed in it. We used it for other stuff, but it wasn't a classroom.
It works very well. Yeah,
Yeah.
why did I have those steps in there?
It was a lecture hall. I mean, at one time when it was built in '69, the room upstairs was literally a projector room for projectors, and they showed film.
Oh,
That would have been state of the art in '69. Clearly, it's not state of the art in 2019.
Whoa. That all makes sense now.
Wait, so why did they decide to put a little door right here where you could leave from the
I do not know.
Maybe so they didn't have to disturb the video because it goes through it. So they literally live.
That's why the little window is up there. That was where the film projector sat to shine the film down on the screen. But I don't know why that was there unless it was a fire exit or something. I don't know why it was there.
It's crazy.
Yes. All right. So the last part of Dalton's Law, do we have it written?
No.
That's why it's there, people.
We're talking about windows.
Right.
Anything else crazy about this school? I didn't know that. That's kind of crazy.
I mean, this is the newest part of the building. This is the most recent addition to the building. Huh? Mine and Miss Thornhill's room has no asbestos.
Yay.
What does that mean?
It was removed with the remodel.
What's the ice mothers? What's what you just said?
Asbestos?
Yeah, what is that?
Asbestos is a cancer-causing agent. It's
it
was-
covered it up with paint.
yeah. The tile in the floor and the ceiling. The reason we use asbestos is that it's fire retardant. But
If you like
Miss Thornhill's and my room was sealed off, and it was all taken out when they did the remodel. But if you go into Miss Bauer's room, Miss Wicker's room, Miss Bostick's room, there's the lab counters, the tiles all around the lab counters would still have asbestos in it. So,
Cancer.
well, it's a cancer-causing agent. So, for example, if you look at, you know where the chalkboards were? You wouldn't remember the chalkboards, but where their smart boards or their whiteboards are, you ever see globs of glue that have been painted on, and then they paint over it as these big globs of goo? All right, that's asbestos glue that they can't take down. That's why it's been painted over and left in those big globs. Well, genius here didn't know that, and I chiseled mine off. So,
Oh.
Well, what does it do?
it doesn't hurt anybody left the way it is, but when you disturb it, it's the fibers that are in it that are cancer causing.
Tumor.
But
I didn't know that until I chiseled it all off.
I should chisel that
In
off.
the bedroom, they were trying to put the TV in. They said that she couldn't because of asbestos.
Yeah, if a tile is disturbed in most of the classrooms, they just glue it back down. They won't pop it up and replace the floor because it's got asbestos in the flooring. Yes, ma'am.
So what would happen if you go over the 3 times?
You have to stay for lunch detention.
That's
How
so
long?
long. You can't use nothing.
Sure, you just have to stay for lunch detention. Now, let me qualify that by saying, if you say, sure, cool, I'll stay for lunch detention, and you never stay, the next time you ask, my answer is, no, you haven't stayed for lunch detention.
That's my first time using that.
Okay.
Okay, how come
All right.
they stay for lunch detention, but won't let us come in to do like over here? Because apparently you want privacy or something.
Because she said she doesn't want to keep people.
Because she has a class during second lunch. She has third lunch.
You can just
I have
sit
that.
back.
So if you have third lunch, then she definitely doesn't want you to here because that's it. She has 3 class periods in a row, she said.
How long would we be here for detention?
10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Yeah, you don't have to stay long.
But I'd
10
be in the
minutes.
bathroom for 10 minutes.
Huh?
But I'd be in the bathroom for 10 minutes. I used to,
We
right?
can go stay in the bathroom for 10 minutes. Now,
But don't you get extra credit if you don't use them?
yes, you do.
How much?
5 points for each one on your last test grade of the quarter.
And here's the other thing. Why doesn't, like, for what we just took the CFA, honestly, like, what if you just gave, like, 0.5 or a point for every question you got right?
Nope. Now, collect the gas over water. So when we collect gases, generally speaking, we bubble the gases through water or we collect them over water. That's the term that we use because it's easier to bubble a gas through water to collect it. Now, when we calculate that, we have to consider the amount of pressure that the water exerts on the gas. Not just the gas exerts a pressure, but the water also exerts a pressure. So we have a special formula for that, okay? Now, this, we've already said, is total pressure, right? Now, this is the partial pressure of the gas. This is the partial pressure of the water, and the nice thing about this one is it's on a chart. You never calculate P water. We look it up. Right? Look, there it is. So, you are going to always be asked to calculate
Miss Wall.
P total or P gas. Never, ever P water, because P water is always found on the chart. So if you're hunting and trying to solve for P water, you should know you're doing something wrong because you look it up on the charts.
Miss Wall.
Hold on, please.
You should tell us more school secrets.
I don't have any.
Yes, you do. You probably would have said you didn't have any before you told us that about that. Yeah.
Alright. So, here is a typical question for collected over water. Now, in order to use this formula,
What?
it has to use
One.
that phrase. Did I give you one? There you go. Now, as you're writing that down, be sure that you underline or circle that phrase. Because if it does not use that phrase, you're not going to use this formula and this chart to solve. Okay?
I really appreciate you making this scripted. It's really hurting me.
I'm really sorry.
That's I should know. Making this better. She doesn't. This is a question. I never write the full questions. I just write the numbers. Every teacher I would thought you would have this straight.
I don't need it to be straight to be effective.
Failed me.
It doesn't need to be straight to be effective. Just saying.
What kind of things did you do in high school?
Cheerleader.
Really?
You were a cheerleader?
No.
Are you gullible?
Yes.
No, but for real.
I just did try.
I didn't like to run when I was 120 pounds. I certainly would not have run now, but no, I did not do track.
Okay, what do you do then?
I played tennis, believe it or not.
Hey, she said. Were you smart in high school?
One could say that.
Where'd you go to school at?
Northeastern High School.
Wait, so how'd you end up here?
I went to UNCG.
How'd you end up here?
Here, like Lexington Senior High.
I interviewed for a job.
Why?
They had no opening for a chemistry teacher.
So you taught my mom when you were like what?
I really don't know.
Graduated
I
class.
started here when I was 21.
And that was what year?
21.
1991.
Girl, you started your life way too early.
So you taught my mom when you were like 26 because she graduated the class of 96.
Okay, so that would be 5 years after I started. So,
Like
yep.
26. That's crazy. Only like 8 years older than her. You teaching her.
I taught some people I was only 2 years older than when I started.
Did boys think you were a baddie?
I don't know.
Whose mom's gonna be that teacher on the news?
I'm gonna look you up in the class of 91 yearbook when I get up there in a second.
It's Becky, that's
What?
Do you have long hair or did you have hair like that still?
It was like this.
My mom went through a phase her senior year and cut all of her hair off, and to this day, no one knows why she did that. I think she was a
All right, we
little
have it written.
under the
All
radar.
right,
you know
so
what
you
I
gotta
mean?
solve. What does it ask for
That
in
was
the
in
question?
kindergarten, not senior year.
What does it ask for in the question?
Partial pressure.
Partial pressure.
And
So,
cut it off
which
off yourself.
letter is the partial pressure? Is the partial pressure the P total or the P gas?
P gas.
It's the P gas. All right. So I already told you we're never solving for P water. That's always on the chart.
And that is
We have to be solving for P gas. So that means this number has to be the what?
Total.
That has to be the total. So 731 goes there. All right. So we have to find the number on the chart. Now, this is millimeters of mercury, right? So we're going to look in the column that says millimeters of mercury, and we have to find the temperature.
Wait,
so our
okay.
temperature is 20, and we need millimeters of mercury.
so then
So on your chart, find 20 degrees, find millimeters of mercury, and what number do you see?
17.5.
Everybody got it?
Yeah.
So
So this isn't a 4-way chart. This is just you didn't use the whole sheet of paper.
yes. So are we okay with how I got 17.5?
Yeah.
Find 20 degrees Celsius because the question says 20 degrees Celsius. The units are mmHg. So find mmHg, find 20 degrees Celsius, and that's how I got 17.5. Is everybody okay with that?
Can we use this on test?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay? Yes.
Wait,
Don't
will
take
this
notes on it.
stay?
Huh?
This will stay?
What? Were you in the bathroom when I said you could mark in your notes that said this is not on the exam?
Well, this is
Okay.
Oh, it's not?
So it'll be on my test. It will not be on the state
This is
exam.
part of the honors program.
Yes. I can add any extras I want in the honors course. This is one I chose to add. So to solve, we do what?
So if we don't finish the curriculum, it's on you. Yeah.
Of course.
That's dumb.
Wait, do you usually finish?
Nope.
No. She
No,
said
I
that.
said that. Like at mine.
All right. So 713.5.
Yeah.
All right. What unit are we putting on it?
Yes.
mmHg.
I had to get.
How do you know it's MMA?
Because it has to be the same pressure unit, and the one in the problem is mmHg.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Yes, silly.
Now, just to illustrate the difference, you don't need to write this one, but to illustrate the difference, okay? What are they asking for in this question? Jump to the end, and what are they asking for? They're asking for the pressure. Did it say partial pressure?
No.
So what are they giving you? Are we asking for PT or P gas?
Giving us the PT,
We're finding PT because what does it say right here?
partial pressure.
The partial pressure is, okay, so they're telling you the partial pressure is 742.5. Okay, so that is going to go in for P gas. All right, so we still look up P water, and P water is found where? On your sheet. So look on the sheet, and again, I have what temperature? Where did I put the temperature? 20. And what is my unit? mmHg, so it's still going to be 17.5. So this time you'd do what to solve? You'd add. So that's 760. I'm doing that in my head.
Yes.
And then you just write millimeters of mercury. Any big issues with how to use the chart or the formula?
No, anybody, we just
Okay.
have a problem.
Now, let's talk about mixing all 5 of these up.
Look, Bob.
That's what you gonna tell you when you see your progress report. Look, Annabelle.
You go powerful, say that now.
Yeah, I can. And once I do
Once I do these test questions,
and I get my life together, and you
might
might
pass.
there for school.
you might pass.
I'm already passing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might get back to the C range.
Now, I get it break down.
Put one on Annabelle's spot. All right, let's see which ones we're going to do. We need some for all 5. All right. Not doing the whole sheet. Because I don't want you to have 17 problems for homework.
Right.
Oh, wait, who said we were going on this?
No lie, that woman's nuts.
What woman?
Miss Cleary.
Are you talking about Miss Curry's nuts?
No, Miss Cleary.
Oh, Miss Curry's nuts. Miss Curry's nuts. She DM'd the person that posted that video of us. She DM'd
Oh my
God. Are you serious? Yeah, we got a paragraph, and then she sent them a video of like everyone dancing at prom, and was like, "This is an diverse school."
I'm dead.
What did she
Yeah.
say? Because I don't know. She just was like, she was really mad because like, not me being tough to but like Lamb is in it, Lucas is in it, and they both have scholarships to Carolina, and so she was really mad about it, and so she said we didn't do anything wrong, but she just wanted to back us up. So I actually like Miss Curry for like a day and a half. Let's see if she can ruin it, but I hope not.
Probably. Oh.
No, I'm so proud of this.
And where's your slide?
I wish I could get it.
All right,
I like that. I like
if you can do those, you should be able to make 100 on the quiz tomorrow.
Look, look.
So
You're not proud of this? Look, I made it better.
Both curve
What?
and one of them is taking care of.
What I had was just fine.
But now I have a smaller and a straight piece of chart.
Lab report about some M&M coding.
yeah.
Now, you should be working for the remainder of class, or we'll just move on to Avogadro's principal.
No, man.
We're going back to that
Now we got.
Yes, we're going back to Avogadro.
No, we're not. We need to learn the curriculum that's going to be on the exam.
You guys are so cool.
Now, the answers are here if you get the first couple done and you want to check your papers.
So this is the assignment in class and homework.
This is the assignment for in-class and homework.
Could have just
And
said
I will be
yes.
glad to help anybody who needs help.
Miss Pressure, KPA pressure.
KPA is pressure, yes.
So all of those units are always pressure.
KPA, ATM, TOR, and then always pressure. We'll be right back. I'm hunting my stapler. One of y'all borrow my stapler?
I did.
No, you didn't.
You did.
It's literally right there.
That's what I'm doing.
Whoa!
It's right there.
You silly goose! Pop, pop, pop! Watch you out. Hold on.
What the formula is?
Where is the
Y'all
ball?
know the formulas are the combined hash
What is
except for
that?
adult.
It's
T1 over T1 equals D2 T2 over
too bad, but still not.
Why do I have a herd over there socializing?
Ask the question.
And it was about chemistry?
Yeah.
Right.
No, really, it was.
There's Mr. Al.
Huh?
Not Mr. Al.
Just
Yeah.
waiting.
God, I'm gonna find you.
What is that?
She's down at the. Shut up!
What is that?
It's a 600 staff in 1997. Drawn by David. Who else is there? So there's here. Sarah Potty-All's on there. Miss Thornhill's on there.
Miss Thornhill is here? Oh, yeah.
She's only 2 years behind me.
Really? Only, wow. So once you leave, you only get 2 years. She only gets 2 years because she just got her last grade for a really long time.
Yeah, she's done. She's in single. She's where I'm at.
What is that? It's just still.
Hey,
Hey, Miss B!
That's the price. That's the price.
Now I play Miss B also now. Is she on this? She should be on this. Miss B also on this?
Miss Wong does and this just confirmed it. It's the first one that we're just multiplying.
What'd you get for the first
One done it.
That's almost 25 years.
I was just about it. I used to stuff it out and use that before.
I don't think so.
What did you get?
I told you, this is 25 years ago. We've aged.
Mr. Al looks the same though.
And I get some more.
Probably just doesn't
I know
look
that
that
The Kyle, what are we deciding? It's good, but it's
On your
overpriced,
price.
but it's good.
Okay, doesn't this look like Dalton now?
Valerie Price.
It does. So
It is okay. This is Miss Wall. Miss her out. Miss sorting out.
Potty off.
Miss Thornhill looks like a That's Miss Thornhill.
She always laughs. Miss Wall. Miss her out. Patty off.
Why is it binder?
Suburban one.
That's a lot of work.
Is this the fun?
No.
I use the P1. He looks sweet. B1 equals B1. He looks really nice. And he looks like he'll probably be cute.
Find the volume. So I can write on something. See how that's KPA? KPA is a pressure. Degrees Celsius is temperature. So you need to flip that. So put your 96 KPA here, and your 29.7 degrees Celsius there. Okay? So line and volume at standard temperature and pressure. So standard pressure is 1 atmosphere, and standard temperature is 273 K. So that needs to be in Kelvin, so it matches. These two have to match. So either make this one KPA or make that one ATM. Okay? Who?
You definitely get extra.
Who was this? Because he looks like.
That was Dalton. Roger shot me on the corner. He had the picture.
Loser.
He has nothing to do it. He's now the superintendent of Rockingham County Schools.
He's cute. I can tell. He's cute.
He was a nice looking guy.
I'm gonna look him up in the yearbook too. 97. All right. That was my mom. Go ahead.
If she speaks poorly of him, I was just shocked. He was one of my favorite principals.
Was it the Simpsons?
He's one of my-
That looks like Miss Beyonce. I can't get off of that.
No, that is not Miss Vialta.
Boys, you look.
That's sort of
Yeah, that's adorable.
Mr. Allen, that's all.
He looks like he was
I
a gym teacher.
I remember who it was.
Like
He taught social studies.
the 97, that looks like.
I can't remember his name to save my soul.
We're trying to find
I don't know. He might have been the band teacher. That might have been the guy that was Ian somebody. Now that I look at his face, I think he might have been the band teacher. Yeah. His what? No, he's white.
you would not think. Yeah, you're not.
Oh, Mr. George? Yeah. I like Mr. George. A lot of people really like him.
He was amazing. He was funny. He's scared people out.
I didn't like you. They're like, Miss Thornhill's back here. Miss Thornhill's.
Anybody have a question?
That's the girl patio.
Oh,
That's Miss Val.
So like, yo, hey, Tom,
why does Alex? Why was Miss Thornhill older in this? She actually.
it's not the same, right? It's not the same. She hadn't even had, like, I don't know, Tom, but it's like, it's not, like, you need to go. It's just not- Oh, okay, that's the fourth person.
She had very.
No, you don't, boy. Sure, fry cows, boy.
Oh, okay, so yeah.
I could not do this.
Yeah, this is called more.
David Vaughn.
David Oon. Yeah.
I'm really gonna look at him because I can tell he's attractive.
The answer's on my desk.
One of our third boys tried like two of his teachers.
Yeah, who's that? Who rang?
It actually worked. Seven number 20 was like, please.
Get money where I
So you got 546, 559.
I got it out. What would you cut? Shut in.
I don't know what is
Five
It's
is
the
the
third.
back, yeah.
Oh.
You got
I'm done for the day.
That's good. You worked really hard.
Emma, you were done with watching that.
Tomorrow, are we having an easy day?
I know